Ladies and gentlemen who read the manga, we all know what's about to happen. If you don't read the manga, I mean, well, you're about to find out pretty darn soon. So just stay tuned. I cannot believe they showed this guy the way that they did in this episode. Mad hype, yo, mad hype. Oh, did you feel his stomps? Like the way that everything was shaking? It's a cloud, and everything was freaking shaking as he was coming up. Oh man, it felt like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Even showed a little part of his belt, and Rouge, who's up there trying to relax, he just can't. He can't do it. The stomps wake him up every time. It's like, what is going on? Who is this person?
Does anybody know when we're getting a new opening? I mean, I'm assuming it should drop pretty soon now, right? No offense, I'm just getting tired of the whole da na 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 na. We're moving on to bigger things. This episode was a great example of that, and there's never been a better time to get involved in this over intellectual community and fandom. No, but the reason why I'm asking about a new opening is because we still have Doflamingo in this one as the antagonist. Like, I mean, we saw Luffy destroy him. Like he's already been defeated, and so it would make sense that moving on to a new arc would require a new opening.
For this episode of One Piece, I actually decided to plan ahead and get myself a box of pizza. A pizza. See? Because all I could remember from reading the manga for this episode is that everybody was stuffing their face. Everybody was eating delicious food, and they were discussing very important topics. And as a result, I thought it would be a good idea to record myself eating and discussing alliances and very important topics. So, what you're going to see is me eating this pizza. Let me tell you something, right? There is nothing quite as unique as having the privilege of watching a grown-ass man eat pizza. It's one of those rare delicacies in life that you don't really get to experience that often. So you're welcome. I got the ranch dressing here. I got no napkins. So this is going to get really gross, like Pirate Alliance gross. Because we're discussing very important topics. Which Yonko are we going to fight? So let's start with a slice. Oi, Captain Kida. What Yonko are we gonna fight, kid? I mean, if the Mugiwara, right, and the Surgeon of Death have taken out Doflamingo, it probably means that they're aiming for the top, the big guy, 100 Beast Kaido. Therefore, it's a good thing that we're not aiming for the same person. By the way, I'm so glad I have this pizza with me because I don't think I would be able to discuss these important topics without chewing on stuff. It's delicious. You see, in the Kid Alliance, we either go big or go home, alright? Don't ever be a pussy in the Kid Alliance. I will shut that shit down, no exceptions. First one's free. It's an emotional moment. I get it. Yeah, but which one are we aiming for, kid? I mean, it's not exactly like we have a lot of options, right? Which one is it? Red-haired Shanks. The fuck? Where can I start? With the exception of the whole Tontada, like crying scene and hugging Kiro's over-emotional moment, I thought this episode was masterfully handled. Everything was there, the content was there, world building, folks, world freaking building. But also, not only that, just the hype, man. It got me. Did you notice the music they used for the Worst Generation? I think it's from Strong World. Dun 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 da 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 da. Oh, beastly. Beastly. That part aside, though, it's obvious that the main character of this one episode is definitely Fujitora and his struggle to accomplish his goal of completely annihilating the Shichibukai system because it hasn't worked in the past. If anything, it has just only given way for tyranny and oppression to take place and for these pirates to, these corrupt pirates to take advantage of the system. And I love the fact that this episode addresses the fact of why he didn't fight, like why he wasn't doing anything to actively help the Straw Hats or the citizens of Dressrosa, aside from, possibly just pushing the birdcage. It was because he wanted to make a public apology, and he wanted that stuff to be broadcast to the entire world so that people would understand that the Shichibukai is corrupt, it's not working, and it needs to be changed. Then we go up to Marijoa. I love seeing, different shots of the One Piece world. Everything is just, it's such a good part of what makes this series so great. So we see the Marijoa, their holy land, and we have the 5 elders. Akainu, Sakazuki, is really pissed off, and he gets even more pissed off when he hears about Doflamingo being taken down and, who actually took him down. But actually, the first thing that Sakazuki is complaining to the Gorosei about has to do with Doflamingo and the publication of him, quote-unquote, resigning from the Shichibukai. He just can't understand what's so fucking, amazing about Doflamingo that he can pull this stunt and get away with it, and you guys actually decided to help him do this. Why did this happen? And so the Gorosei are like, just keep quiet, shut the fuck up. This episode actually introduces the notion of, the Gorosei not being top dogs. In fact, they make it seem as if, for whatever reason, the Cypher Pole is somehow affiliated with the Celestial Dragons, and the Celestial Dragons are the top dogs. And therefore, if they say something, if they say jump, the Gorosei have to say how high. Of course, we know that Doflamingo actually used to be a Celestial Dragon, and so whatever information he was able to learn during that time when he was living in Marijoa, he can use that as a bargaining chip to kind of manipulate the world government. And so that's just shown here. It's like, damn, Doflamingo, he's the only person in the One Piece series that has this level of autonomous behavior. That being said, there's a reveal also, it's a confirmation that Kuzan, Aokiji, is actually affiliated with Blackbeard now. Sakazuki doesn't want to hear none of that shit. He's like, I don't care, he left the Navy, that's none of my business, fuck him. And by the way, if you look at Akainu's face, he did not get away clean. Look at that ear. Actually, this section of the episode kind of left me with a question for you guys. Do you think that the Gorosei are actual powerhouses in terms of strength and power, not just political power, but actual strength and combat ability? Because the way that Akainu was talking to them kind of made it seem like, damn, you're bordering on being mad disrespectful here. If they can actually beat the shit out of you, that would be a hard position to be in if you were Akainu. But he didn't care. It didn't seem like he was phased at all. And the guy with the katana, it's obvious that he has the sword there for a reason. And I'm not gonna get into the the theories revolving the blonde Gorosei. But yeah, it just seems like Akainu was being very belligerent. And we know how quick Shanks was able to shut that shit down. We see a ship heading to Dressrosa. It's kind of heavily implied that it belongs to Sudu. There's somebody else talking to her, but we don't get to see him. And if you remember, I don't want to spoil it, but it's a new voice actor because the person's voice actor, the old one, died. We also see Tashigi and Smoker in this episode. They make a lot of references and connections to what just happened in Dressrosa with what happened in Alabasta with Crocodile. It's the same kind of storyline. It's almost, I wouldn't say it's beat for beat the same story. There are some major differences, but it's kind of like the same structure. It's kind of like the same skeleton. The government places the Shichibukai in charge. They abuse power. They do whatever they want. And it's up to the citizens and pirates to be the heroes, and then the Navy takes all the credit. Fujitora is completely banned from entering any military base after this episode, and he has one of the best quotes that he tells Akainu is that if the trust that you have goes away just by admitting a mistake, that means that you never had trust to begin with. The trust that you thought was real was never real. It's really cool because the hypocrisy, little by little, is beginning to unravel.
Obviously, I love the Worst Generation cameos. I cannot wait for these people to get together by the end and just wreak havoc all around the new world. It's going to be great. The two that, all of them actually have some foreshadowing to some major event that's going to happen in the future. But the one that really sticks out the most as of right now is obviously Bonnie, because notice how she says, wow, they took out Doflamingo. That's really good. I'm proud of them. I'm glad that I'm part of the same generation. Damn, that to me, that's straight up foreshadowing. Obviously, Capone is also incredibly, telling of what's going to happen if you look closely in the background. And I always thought it was kind of weird how Drake just really didn't give a shit about Doflamingo being defeated, given the fact that he was the one who killed his father. I mean, granted, his dad was pretty much an asshole, but it's he just shrugs that shit off. whatever. The black market, though, is just completely turned to shit after this, and just kind of showcase how much power Doflamingo really had, how much influence he had throughout the New World. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a like if you appreciated the review. Subscribe to my channel for more One Piece reviews. Comment down below with your thoughts. Next week, we have an episode of Sabo-centric. And it looks like by the preview, well, two things I noticed. The animation looks really great, but also they're adding stuff with him, growing up in the military base, of the revolutionary base. So I can't wait to see it. Thank you so much. Catch you guys later.